Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Now in today's video I'm going to be taking you guys through all different kinds of features that you get on CarPlay. How do you get a CarPlay in the first place? What is CarPlay? And just to begin, it's going to be a really long video because I'm going to demonstrate each one of the features that I know about. And if I miss something, please comment them down below. And I'm going to show you how you can have CarPlay on your car if it did not come with the CarPlay. Now, as I mentioned in the last video, CarPlay is essentially a version of iOS being run onto your car's infotainment screen. Now, a lot of people have newer cars that come with CarPlay from factory. However, a majority of people having car from pre-2017 wouldn't have CarPlay. And for those people, you can always add an external module to your car, or you can have your whole head unit replaced. Now, if you do end up with the option where you have to replace the head unit, is pretty straightforward. You just connect your phone to the head unit and it should come up with CarPlay, whether be it wired or wireless. Now, CarPlay do come in a variety of options. That being said, you can have it wired or wireless. And for people who opt for a wired option would have more stable connection. And people with the wireless option may experience dropout depending on their phone, on the module and the unit they're connecting to. Now this car here is a 2015 and did not come with a CarPlay from factory. So what we have done is we have added one of our modules to add CarPlay to the screen. It's an NTG5 module. So NTG is essentially the system that runs on this car when Mercedes released this car. It's kind of like a command system. So going into CarPlay, what you have to do is you can press and hold the start button on your touchpad. Now that's the trigger for this car. However, if you have CarPlay from your factory, you wouldn't have to do that. So I'm going to press and hold my start button here, and that brings me up to this screen. Now I'm going to go through each one of these features for a module, and I'm going to show you what each individual feature does. Now to get connected to CarPlay, what you want to do is go into the Bluetooth section of either your factory or an external device or an external module or a head unit, whatever it is that you're connecting to. You want to go into the Bluetooth. And once you're in Bluetooth, what you want to do is unlock your phone. And then you want to go into the settings, go into the Bluetooth, and it should come up with the CarPlay option for whatever your device is. For example, my device here is named as limsetbox_6F40. So I'm going to pair to limsetbox_6F40 on here. So I'm going to try to connect that now. A lot of people do not read this and they just click allow. Now this is just if you want your Bluetooth part of the device to sync to your contact. You do not have to allow it if you do not wish to. I'm not going to allow, so I'm going to click don't allow, and you're connected. Now what you will see is once this pop-up comes up to use CarPlay and I click on it, it's going to disconnect me from my limited box once the CarPlay is up and running. So we're going to wait for the CarPlay to come up. The very first time whenever you'll pair your CarPlay, it will take a bit of time to connect as the system is trying to synchronize a lot of data between your phone and the actual system. Now here we are in the CarPlay screen, and as you can see, my device has been disconnected. Now the system is in CarPlay, and if you see on my device, okay, now the system is in CarPlay, and if you try to see on my device, the limsit box that we connected to has been disconnected. This is because CarPlay uses Wi-Fi direct technology, which basically means it establishes a connection between your phone and the CarPlay unit itself using Bluetooth. And once the pairing is done, the module will say, hey, I want to use CarPlay. Your phone goes like, cool, switches over to Wi-Fi, because this is essentially a form of screen mirroring. Now, if you did that over Bluetooth, it's going to be very laggy, it's going to slow, it's going to have bad connection. However, Wi-Fi is able to transfer data much faster than Bluetooth. So if using a Wi-Fi direct, all that is happening is essentially your phone is mirroring the CarPlay screen onto your car's infotainment using Wi-Fi. Now, CarPlay can be used in a variety of methods, one of them being the touch controller that I've got on this car. So I have a knob that I can use to control the CarPlay, which is a controller. You can use voice commands using SIRI. I don't want to trigger that. You can use voice commands using SIRI. I don't want to trigger SIRI for anyone who's watching this video. And you can also use touchscreen. Unfortunately, this car here does not have a touchscreen option, so if I try to touch onto anything, it's not going to do anything. But if you do have the option of touchscreen on your car, I think that is the most convenient and the best way to use CarPlay. Now, I'm quite comfortable using my controller as I'm driving. Because it gives me a feedback of what I'm touching, and it does not distract me from looking on the road when I'm driving and trying to do something on CarPlay. Now this is the main dashboard for your CarPlay. Now the CarPlay dashboard will provide with a simplified version which shows you all of your essential controls that you need. So on the top left, it has the Go option from my map, and the mapping software that CarPlay is using will be the last mapping software that you have used. So for example, because I used Google Maps as my last mapping software, CarPlay is using Google Maps as my choice of mapping software. So if I click on Go here, it's going to give me all of these quick options where I can head to with a click of a button. So let's say if I want to go to a coffee shop, so I just click on Go on the home screen, the first option, and click on coffee shops, and it's going to show me all of the coffee and it will show me all of the coffee shops around me in the area or the ones close to me. Now I can select either one of these. So let's say, for example, if I select Grind Coffee Bar, I can hit enter on my controller, and then it gives me the option to start my navigation. Now, since I'm not going to be navigating to this location, I'm going to go back to home screen. And then to go back into my dashboard, I'm going to press my home button, which for a touch screen would be a home button on your screen, or for a controller would be my start button for this case. Now, secondly, I can also use the voice command and navigate to my destination. So I can just say, for example, click on voice and say coffee shops. And the system is really good in recognizing your voice, and as you can see, it has brought me up with all the coffee shop options that I have around me. So let's see, if I want to head to Starbucks, I'm going to click enter and then click on start. and now it's showing me the navigation. Now, one downside that you get with CarPlay is once you have your navigation up there, you cannot see the directions on your phone. So if you have a look at your phone, it's only gonna come up as per a written text of your direction summary, and there's no option to change that. Even if you want to, you cannot change this. So let's say if you want to navigate. Now what I'm going to do is cancel the navigation, and then we will try to navigate to a location using your phone. Now to cancel the navigation on screen, all you have to do is scroll to the top right, or you can use touch again. Click on exit, and that should cancel the navigation. Now let's go back to the home screen by pressing star again, and you're back into your dashboard. Now if I want to navigate somewhere using my phone, I can click here, I can search Starbucks, I can click on direction, and then it's gonna give me the option to start this navigation in CarPlay. So if I click start here, you can see the navigation comes up on, you can see the navigation comes up on there. I can also exit any navigation using my phone. So I'm just going to click exit here, and that should kick me out of navigation. Now the next feature we have here is the music feature. So I can go into music, and it's going to choose Apple Music by default unless you have any other music app playing in the background. So let's say if I had my podcast playing on any other app, for example, if I had my podcast playing on, so let's say for example, if I had my podcast playing on Overcast, it would show up as my podcast app. It essentially shows you what media app you were using. Now for navigation, you can also use Apple Maps. Apple Maps has most seamless connection with Now another thing you can do for your navigation is to use Apple Maps. Apple Maps has most seamless connection, of course, as it's designed by Apple, and it is very optimized for your CarPlay system. So if I click on Apple Maps and I click on any destination, let's say if I want to go to any destination, Braybrook Shopping Center, click on that, and I can click on go. Now it's going to show me all the options on the bottom right option. Now it's going to show me all the options on the bottom right. It's going to show me what time I'm going to arrive there, how much is the travel time, and how much is the distance. Now if I click on that small arrow down there, it's going to give me an option to either add a stop, so I can click on that, and I can add any of the stops that I want on the way. So I can add a petrol station, I can add a parking. So let's say if I'm going to a restaurant where I know the parking is not going to be available, this one is going to show me the nearest parking complex. I can click on the restaurant. So let's say if I'm going to a friend's house and I grab something on the way, I can click on restaurants, and then it's going to give me all the options with how much detour each one of the restaurants is going to take for me to arrive to my destination. Again, you can add a coffee shop, you can add groceries, or if you want to add something custom, you have two options. The first one being Siri, and the second one being your keyboard. Now the second option you get in there is the share ETA option. What that option essentially does is it allows you to share your location and your trip details with someone you want. So let's say, for example, I can click on share ETA. I can select the person I want to share my ETA with, and I can hit enter. It's gonna tell me share ETA. Maps will always share as my name and my email address. I can click share. It's gonna share my ETA with the person. I want to stop that. Now the third option you get in here is the report option. And what this does is it allows me, let's see if I'm driving and I see there's a crash, it allows me to report a crash. If there's a hazard, let's say if there's road work going on, it can also report a hazard. And also if there's a mobile speed cameras, you can also always report it a speed check. So that way any other person using Apple Maps would be notified about it when they're going through the same street. It's gonna pop up as a crash would pop up as the first icon, road work or any other hazard that you have reported would pop up as the second option, and the speed check would pop up as the third icon. Now let's go back and let's end our navigation. We're back at this screen here is the home screen, and this is your dashboard. Next, let's go through the settings for CarPlay. So you have a driving focus. Now when you activate the driving focus in CarPlay, anyone trying to reach you will be sent with a notification saying your driving focus silences. Now once you activate your driving focus with CarPlay, what it's going to do is as soon as you get in the car and start driving, it's going to change your phone's focus mode into driving mode, and anyone trying to call you, any calls are not silenced. However, someone trying to send you a text will be silenced and they will be informed that you're in a driving focus mode, and any message within 2 minutes time is considered as urgent, and that will come through. The next one we have here is the announced messages. So if you go in there and enable your announced message, Siri can actually read out a message to you. So for example, if I have that enabled and someone tries to send me a message, your SIRI will automatically read the message out for you. So let's say if someone sends me a text saying, hey, how are you? Or hey, how far are you? It's gonna say, you have received a new message from whoever sent the message, and it's gonna say, let's say if I get a message from Nathan saying, hey, how far are you? It's gonna give me a notification saying, Nathan says, hey, how far are you? So on and so forth. Now, there's another option for your appearance. So you can have it always dark, always light, or you can have it automatic. Now you can have your maps only set to dark mode while the entire system remains the light mode. I prefer always dark. You can always go automatic, and during the daytime it's going to kick you back into light mode, and once the sun is starting to set, it changes along with your phone and the time and the location, and as soon as the sun starts to set, it's going to turn into dark mode. The next option we have here is for your wallpapers. So let's explore all of the wallpapers. That's a pretty basic one. Now you can choose between all of these wallpapers depending on what you prefer. On the left side, it shows how the wallpaper is going to look in the light mode, and on the right side, it shows how the wallpaper is going to look during your dark mode. So let's say, for example, if I pick up any of these wallpapers, say the third one, and I click on it, and I click set. Now if I go back to home, that's the wallpaper now. However, if I go into dark mode, Alright, so next option we have here is Siri and suggestions. So once I click on that, it's going to show me suggestions in dashboard, which means if I get in the car and Siri thinks that I'm going to be somewhere at a certain time, let's say if I get in the car in the morning, it's going to suggest me on my dashboard page to navigate to work. Now the second one is automatically send messages. Now if you have it enabled, Siri will always ask you to confirm before sending a message. To send a message faster, turn on automatically send messages. So let's say if someone is trying to text me, or let's say if I say, hey, text whoever, and then what keeping this option off does is Siri will repeat the whole message for me. And if I have it turned,
I'm not sure what you're trying to edit.
So if I have this option disabled, Siri will repeat the whole message for me before sending it and asking for a confirmation. However, if you have this option enabled, what she will do is directly send the entire message. Now there's another feature that says show apps behind Siri. Now what it does is essentially once you have your Hey Siri enabled or your Siri enabled, it's not going to kick you out of an app. So let's say if you're using navigation and you bring it up to send a message, to make a call, change the song or anything, it's not going to kick you out of the system, or it's not going to kick you out of the app that you're using. So for example, you can be in your mapping app. So for example, you can be in your mapping app and you want to make a call and you have this option disabled, it's going to kick you out and then it's only going to show up Siri. So I recommend to leave that option on. Let's go back to settings. And the final option we have here is to show album art. So album art is essentially if you have any music playing, it's going to show the cover page of the music on there. Now, coming on to the communication part of CarPlay, CarPlay can allow you to make and receive calls completely hands-free. So you can either say, hey, Siri, call this person, and it's going to make the call for you, or if someone is calling you, it's going to ask you if you want to answer, and you can say yes, no, and it's going to do that. And it's going to do the actions consistent with your voice command. And as as I've already demonstrated before, you can always read and as I've demonstrated before, you can always read and send messages via Siri. Siri is able to read your incoming message aloud when you're driving, and you can also reply to the same messages. Now let's say if you are connected to someone with iMessage, someone trying to send you a text with their email, with their iCloud account or whatever, CarPlay you can use CarPlay to reply straight back to them using iMessage. You do not have to have a text messaging number. You can also reply to iMessages. Now let's see, if you're someone who misses a lot of call and always have their voice message bank pending with people's voice messages, so you can use CarPlay, and when you get in the car, you're driving, you want to play all of them one by one, you can do that in the CarPlay as well. Now coming on to the entertainment part, CarPlay can allow you to stream your music with the Now coming on to the entertainment part, CarPlay can allow you to stream music with seamless integration with the music player of your choice. So my music player of choice is YouTube Music. So what I'm going to do is scroll until the end. Now because my YouTube Music is on the end, I'm going to show you how you can have it on your home screen. You cannot press and hold to change it. You have to do something else. Now to change the arrangement of your home screen or which apps to display on your CarPlay home screen, you can go into your phone, go into the settings, scroll down to General, go into your CarPlay and select the CarPlay device. For this case, it's going to be my limited box. I'm going to go here and it should give you an option to customize. Click on customize, and then you see the 3 lines on the right side. You can use to drag the apps in the order that you want them to be. So what I'm going to do now is I want my YouTube Music to be my second application, my messages third, I'm going to have my home as fourth, now playing fifth, and I'm going to have my podcast app as the last one. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, sorry. I can have more. I can have calendar, and I can have one more, which I'll probably keep Google Maps. Right, so I've done this. So now you can arrange your apps in an order that you want them to be, which in my case is going to be phone, YouTube Music, Google Maps, messages, home is sending it back into the limited box screen, now playing, and podcast. There should be, you can have 8 apps, actually you can have 10 apps on one screen. Because of the size of the screen, it's going to vary on your end of the device and the screen that you're connected to. If I can have 10, I'm going to put in my parking payment apps, Overcast, Easy Park, PayStime. Done. Now all that I have to do is go back, and now if I go back to my home screen, you can see, that's the home screen, that's my phone, my YouTube Music, Google Maps, messages, home is back to the limited box settings, my now playing, my podcast app, my 2 parking payment app, and there's a music app chilling there which I don't really need, but there's not much that I need there anyway, so it doesn't matter. I will demonstrate how YouTube Music or any other music application works. They all appear to be very similar in the manner of how you use them. So you still have to use your scroll wheel or your touch control to use it, or you can also use SIRI and play a song that you like. Here I don't want to get copyright, so I'm gonna go onto my phone and search for no copyright background music, and let's play something on here. Now if I go back to home screen, I can change the song using the controller here. So I can use it to go to the next song, I can use it to pause or play the song again, and I can use this to restart the song or go to another song. And that's my thumbnail for the music. Now you can play music on your phone, or you can play music on the app itself on the car. I'm just gonna pause that for now. So just pause that. Another good thing about CarPlay is it supports live DAB radio apps. So I can use my radio app, which is called, so my choice of radio app is called Radio App. You can use iHeartRadio or anything that you like. Now I have it open here on my phone. I can select any of the local music station, and I have the volume to nothing, so I don't get copyright. But you can essentially switch between FMs, DAB stations, and you can access all of the online radio apps. Now, talking about third-party apps, CarPlay does support most of the third-party apps. So, for example, it supports sending and receiving text via WhatsApp. It also supports navigating using Waze. It supports you making calls on Zoom. It supports for you to use Spotify, Audible, any of the third-party app that you want to use. Most of them will be compatible with CarPlay. And a good thing about CarPlay is Apple continually updates CarPlay to include new apps, and compatibility improves on the existing app over time. Now you can also use CarPlay to access your calendar, which will provide you with your upcoming events and appointments, and also remind you about them as you're driving. You can also use SIRI reminders and notifications, so you can create a reminder in the CarPlay. You can also set an appointment by using your voice control, and SIRI should be able to set up a an upcoming event for you just by voice control. Now, with the latest update of iOS, Apple have made all of the icons really big and easy to navigate through. It's done in an order so that when you're driving and you're trying to look for an icon, it's not very hard to do so, and it's not very hard to do so, and it's very safe in the process of Now Apple have made all the icons large and easily visible in order for you to navigate easily through them, and that removes the amount of distraction you would have while driving and trying to access any apps. Now, as we talked before about the integration, the CarPlay or Android Auto, whatever it is that you're using, would work seamless with your iPhone or any other Android device that you have, and that allows you to have all of your contacts, that allows you to have all of your messages and all of the apps that's on your phone onto your car's screen without actually having to install anything onto your actual infotainment system. You can also access your call history, you can access your message history, you can also access your missed calls in case if you're driving and you want to return to your calls, you can do that. CarPlay is also compatible with a wide range of models from a whole lot of different manufacturers. Now, the compatibility of CarPlay is very wide. It ranges throughout a variety of cars, and CarPlay is compatible with car models from all sorts of manufacturers. Now, there's a user guide provided by Apple for troubleshooting and for comprehensive support for its users, which makes it a very easy job for you to actually find out about anything that you would want to know about CarPlay